Hi, this is Elias from iCode Tech Solutions, where we help you amplify your skills with video. Today I'm going to be talking about how to run a simple Java program using Windows Command Prompt, that is the CMD. So to run this Java program, we shall need 1. To download and install a Jdk from oracle.com. 2. We shall need to configure a Jdk in the environment variables to support running of Java applications. For one reason, installing Jdk does not guarantee you running Java applications. Sometimes you install your Jdk and you find that you can't run a Java applications. Therefore, to make your computer be in position to run that Java application, you need to configure that Jdk from the environment variables of your PC. Some of you might have already installed your Jdk, but when you try to run your Java applications, you find that a command like javac, which is a Java compiler, is not supported in your CMD. For example, if I try to say I run like Java compiler, javac, so it will tell you it is going to display this. That means that it is already configured. But if at all I try to change the configurations, because my PC is already configured, let me show you something here. I may come to the environment variables and disable that by deleting it. Okay. So it shows you that javac is not recognized as an internal or external command, operable program, or batch file. So that means that Jdk has been disabled, or it's not configured in this machine. So in such a scenario, although I have my Jdk installed, I'll not be in position to run Java application. So that's what I'm saying. You need to configure your Jdk. Then 3, you shall need to have a text editor such as Notepad or Sublime or any other text editor to be in position to write your Java code. And then lastly, when you're done with writing your code, you'll need to launch a CMD program and start running your Java application. I have to warn you that when you're using your text editor, you need to make sure that every time you write a class name, you use the same class name as your file name. Otherwise, you may find that when you launch this CMD program and start running your Java application, if you have used a different class name from the file name, then that file will never run. Okay. So without wasting any other time, we're going to go straight to downloading and installing the Jdk. So to download your Jdk, you're going to visit oracle.com. Should be a site like this, oracle.com/java/technologies/java downloads this HTML. So Java has around 3 editions. So we have standard edition, the micro edition, and the enterprise edition. They all do different things, but for our case, we are going to use the standard edition. So simply hit the Jdk download. We are going to assume that you have read through all this, and then you should come and look for the kind of the setup that suits your computer. If you're running an operating system Linux, you need to look through the Linux versions. We have Debian and other editions of Linux. Then for Macintosh, Mac operating system, you're going to check through, but I'm running a Windows 64-bit, therefore I need to download this. So I simply hit the link and assume that I've reviewed. I don't have to read this, but if you have time, you can do. So then I hit the download. So this should start downloading in my browser. Now guys, I'm not going to download this because I have already downloaded, as you can see, so I'll cancel this. Now once you have finished downloading, please come and start to install. Installing is not rocket science, it's just a matter of accepting yes to have your program finally installed. So I have already installed my JDK, but once you start this installation process, you're going to keep accepting the terms and the conditions. You can see this software is already in my PC, so I'm not going to do the installation, so I'll simply cancel. Now once your JDK has finished to install, it will create a folder. This is a 6-step folder, therefore you should be in position to create a folder in my program files. If it was a 32-bit, then it would create it in a x86, which is for 32-bit applications. Now I'll check in my program files to find the Java folder. So the JDK creates a Java folder, and you can see this is the installation root. So the binary has everything that we need to run our Java application. These are the APIs, but among all these programs, the most two programs that are important in this JDK or the Java Development Kit are the Java application and the Java C application. So the Java C is the compiler which is supposed to translate your high-level programming language, which in this case is Java, into a bytecode or a machine language code, which is interpreted by the Java application to display the result on the console. So now we're going to go into the step number 2. Step number 2, we need to configure a JDK in the environment variables to support the running of this Java application that we want to write. So how do we do that? We're going to come, I'm using Windows 10, but if you are using Windows 7, you can simply go to my computer, right click and choose properties. People using Windows 10 and Windows 8, right click this PC and then choose properties. So once you choose properties, it's going to give you the control panel and the system and security part. And here you're going to select advanced system settings. This one should link us to the environment variables. Once you click environment variables, you're going to have user variables and then system variables. The user variables are local to your account. The system variables are global to all the accounts. So we shall use the system variables. So simply come click new, type in your variable name. We are going to use path. You can use anything. And then the variable value. We shall use the directory root or the root installation of the JDK, which is this. So we shall copy this and paste it here, and then click OK, then OK and apply. So we can now test the CMD to check whether the JDK is ready to run our Java application. So to do that, we shall use Java C, which is the Java compiler supposed to translate our high-level programming language, in which this case it is Java, into a bytecode or a class file. So we shall test using Java C, and once it recognizes it, it means our JDK is ready to run our Java application. Okay, so going forward, we shall now create our first Java file. So to do that, we will need any text editor such as Notepad. Notepad comes by default in all Windows. So whether you're using 7, 8 or 10, you should be in position to access your Notepad. I'm going to open Notepad. And then shall begin by saving. There are some rules that you must obey when you're saving a Java application. 1, your file name must be the same as the class name. I repeat, the file name must be the same as the class name. It must either begin with an underscore or an uppercase letter. It cannot begin with a small case letter. So I'll say first Java program. First Java program. First Java program .java. .java is a file extension for Java files. Okay, so you can save on the desktop. Now we can begin to write our Java application. So first thing, we shall need the class name. Then next shall need a method. As you all know, when we are writing Java applications, we follow the object-oriented approach. In the object-oriented approach, we model things according to objects which are instances of classes. Classes are just like templates, and objects are just specific. So in case we had, let's say, like a class person, then Peter would be an object for the class person. Now each object contains the methods and then the data, of which we use that data to manipulate the behavior of that object. Okay, so shall need a class name, and I will use a keyword class followed by the class name, which we said must be the same as the file name. So first Java program. So open and close. Call this. So we would find our class. If we have more than one class, we can use visibility modifiers to determine who accesses what. Since we are using only one class, even writing it this way is okay. But assume we had maybe more than one class, probably you would need to use a keyword public to make sure that other classes outside this class can as well access the methods in this class. Okay, so we're going to have our class method, public static void main method, main method. Okay, open close. It has some arguments here. Again, say string args. Okay, so we're going to write our code here. So in this case, we are simply going to have an output statement to print hello world. on the console. So you're going to use the default output device, which is system.out, and then the console, you're going to print on the console using print. You can either use print, or you can use println, or you can use printf. So print line prints on a new line, print prints as a continuation. Then printf, we use it when we want to do some modifications in the final values. Let's say if you had a number with the decimal places, like 3 decimal places, but you only want 1 decimal place, you could chop off the last 2 decimal places, but that can only be possible if we use printf. Okay, so here we're going to use our string to print hello world. Every statement must be terminated as a loop. Okay, so our program is complete. You can now save, and then we start running it. So we're going to launch the CMD by holding start plus letter R, type in CMD and press enter. So the CMD should be in position to start. So to run, we need 3 steps. 1, we are going to locate where the file has been saved. 2, we shall use the javac command to compile the file, and then lastly we shall use the java command to interpret the class file to display the output. So the first thing is to locate where we've saved the file. Of course, that's where we must run it. To locate, we change the directory using cd, and the file was saved on the desktop, so you can find it there. If you don't know why the exact letter which starts with, which your file starts with, then you can use dir to see the list of the files available in that directory, and then see how to run them. Okay, so to run that file, we're going to use javac followed by the file name first, java program. So if it runs, it will display the next line, but if it doesn't run, it will display the errors. So you can read the error and know what the problem is to be in position to collect it. Let me assume that maybe I did not terminate my program, and then I come here to compile. So it is going to show me an error, of which in this error it says that on line number 5 a semicolon is expected, a terminator is expected. So this is line number 5, and therefore we are missing a semicolon. Put it, save, and recompile your program. Javac. So it now runs. So to interpret it, we use a command java followed by the class name, class file name. So you can remove .class, and then so that this should be in position to display the final output, which is hello world. And if you want to change the output, then you have to go back to your code, add there something, save, recompile, interpret the class file, and then display the output. So this is a repetition of tasks. You have to keep on recompiling and then interpreting the class files to always display. So it is much hectic to write and compile program in CMD than when you use an IDE, that is an integrated development environment, such as Eclipse or NetBeans. In our next video, we shall learn how to run a Java application in NetBeans, and you'll appreciate that this time around it will be much simpler to do than it has been today. Simply because an IDE is a self-contained program. You'll create that program and run it within the same IDE. So it gives you the capability to be in position to create the program and run it within the same application. So until then, thank you for watching. Please, if you're new here, please click the button below to help me and support me to create more of these videos. Thank you.